one more time. Do you mind if are you going to be flying in around here? Or?
No, I was just going to take off. You're the ag pilot there? You're spraying this field?
Just that one over there.
Oh, okay.
Do it one more time, and then I'm done.
Well, that's fine. I'll watch for you. I'll move off. Just you're going to be down low, no doubt.
Yeah, I'll watch for you.
All right.
It's orange and white, I can see it.
Not a worries.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to be gone long, maybe 35 minutes. I'm just going to go north, and I'll come back. I'll stay out over this way, stay clear of your area. All right, cool. What are you putting down?
Just water.
Oh, well, I thought it was chemicals.
No, it's just practice.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Well, be careful.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck.
All right, clear prop. So that's what it takes. You got all of the stuff they need to transport lots of stuff. And these poor guys showed up. They're not really paramotorists, they're exhibitionists. Great big thingamabobs. Meanwhile, Jean-Francois is warming up, and he said that he's ditched the idea of the water crossings to Cuba and Mexico, at least initially. So he's off this morning with the new motor installed. Scout's looking good. Got a good wing, good inflation. Woo, hoo, 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 hoo. He's heavy because he's going all the way to Jeff Going's house from here. And Godspeed, my friend. All right. I think we got it fixed. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Oh, I had a throttle issue.
I was ready to get out of that scene. Time. There's always something, right, buddy?
It never ends.
So here's the worst takeoff I've made in probably 8 months. Everybody was having a difficult time going southbound, so I figured that they just didn't know what they were doing. The winds at the ground were out of the north. Unbeknownst to me at the time, however, the winds at just 22 feet off the ground were out of the south, and they were quite strong. So when I pulled the wing up, it came up fine, but I was unable to find a brake input that kept it from surging overhead, and I tried to outrun it, and I got running so fast, and then I tripped and stumbled. I came as close to a full-on face plant at full power as I've ever come.
Clear prop.
Words like sketchy and ugly don't even begin to describe what you're about to see here. It took me 3 full minutes of flying to get into my seat and put the event behind me.
Well, that was the sketchiest takeoff I have had in just about forever. We went from 30 knots of wind last night to barely being flyable at about 9 right before sunset. And then no wind, unpredictable wind aloft. That was just something. What an ugly mess that was. Still getting used to the dudek power seat too. So that's part of the issue. I need coffee.
Well, attending 2 consecutive weekends of fly-in events is an awful lot to ask of yourself. After 9 straight days of travel, you start to question, isn't there more to life than just powered paragliding?
Wow, what a pretty place. If you like horse farms, what a pretty place. Holy smokes.
Well, of course, there's more to powered paragliding than... Oh, wait a minute. There's more to life than just powered paragliding. I just can't remember what it is. So Saturday morning, I had a fuel cap go through my propeller, and fortunately it didn't damage the propeller. But I didn't even follow my own advice. One of my earliest videos before I'd even flown one of these contraptions, I questioned how you could put anything on a paramotor without having it tethered in front of the propeller. Sure enough, fortunately the folks at Aerolight had a spare. So check out this device. It's a little strobe. It weighs, well, it's almost identical to the size of a 9-volt battery. Only it's got a lithium battery, 2 strobes, an easy on-off button, and man, check out how bright it is. It flashes at that cadence for about 3.5 hours on a single charge. Got onboard USB recharge port right there for micro USB, microprocessor controlled, and they're being made by my buddy Philip. That's not Philip. I don't know who that is. Anyhow, if you want one, shoot me a text and we'll put you in touch with Philip. I think their price point is going to be between 40 and 50 bucks. You might want a couple, one for each wingtip, one for your helmet top, one for the back of your helmet. You turn them all on and stay pretty visible that way. Trying to help Philip come up with a product name for this. He was thinking No Comet. Get it? Not No Comet, No Comet. I was thinking Alpha Pegasi, the brightest star in the Pegasus constellation.
Back into the cold air down here. Woo! Man, it's chilly. First deer I've seen in a long time from a paraglider. Hey buddy, where's the buck?
Well, this Dunnellon, Florida airport fly-in was quite the thing. It was the weekend prior to the big Palm Bay fly-in, and we only had about 20 of us show up. But what an interesting place. They had an aerobatic box right over the top of the airport. They also used the airport for crop duster pilot training. They had a bunch of targets lined up so that they could pretend like they were the end of crop rows, and all day long either there was an airplane overhead doing aerobatics or a young guy in a crop duster with an instructor working on getting his turns at the end to get lined back up and get the whole field covered with product. Very interesting, nice weather, absolutely perfect weather. And only 20 of us, and most of the guys were CART or PPC guys. Once you got out and away from the airport, there was plenty of wide open spaces, huge open fields, a lot of livestock, and a lot of remote areas. But man, what a pretty part of the state the Central Florida Ocala area is.
So this guy landed here, ran out of lift and good ideas, so they're gonna take him back home. Here they go.
Well, as wrong as that takeoff at the beginning of this video went, this was a few days prior to that, but it was one of those mornings where everything lined up perfectly. The winds were the perfect direction. The grain that the grass had been mowed at perfectly aligned with my landing and landing approach, and it just turned out really, really nicely. It's still tremendously rewarding when you do everything right and it comes out just like you'd hoped it would.
A lot of good people here. A couple sketchy people. Speaking of sketchy, I am really, really disappointed. I had a guy that wanted me to teach him how to fly. I sent him to one of our industry's recognized acronym school teachers with a pilot that I really have a high level of regard for, and he couldn't get all the training done in the 9-day footprint. In fact, he damaged some gear. I don't know if he was injured or not, but he basically told me, I don't ever want to see another paraglider again. Very disappointing, because this man's lifelong dream was to fly. And couldn't afford general aviation, never had the opportunity for a military-styled career. And now he's just walking away from it. I don't know what the answer is, but I've said all along the 9-day or 7-day footprint training doesn't work for everybody. Really unfortunate, because I was looking forward to flying with him. I was looking forward to showing him some of the local sites around the South Carolina area where from he hailed, but not to be. I was explaining to a couple of my buddies down here in the Florida area that I had seen this sort of thing in general aviation flight training as well. You know, guys just quit for whatever reason. They had a different impression of what aviating was like than what it turned out to be for them, and they cash in their chips and go home. I think I'm going flying. That's what I think.
For the coffee.
I haven't made any yet.
I'm not ready for it yet, believe me.
Let's go flying.
Yeah, let's go flying.
Sneak Attack by Ripa.
Well, lately all the cool kids seem to be ending their video with an admonishment to get training. I'm going to put my spin on it. If you choose to buy training, and I strongly suggest that you do, make sure that you hold your PPG instructor to a very high level of accountability. Make sure that he uses a curriculum, make sure that he trains you to that curriculum, and make sure you don't leave training with any unanswered questions about how to go out and fly a paraglider safely. Also understand that these individual organizations are not government entities, and that paragliding is minimally regulated by the Federal Aviation Administration. So if an instructor does something wrong in the eyes of one of those organizations, he might lose his authority or ability to instruct, but it doesn't carry the weight of the federal regulators coming down on a certified flight instructor. In fact, in many cases, those guys have had that happen. They're still out there selling training. So just be forewarned and shop around before you jump into a relationship with purchasing training. In the meantime, I'm sure there's a flood of pretty cool video stuff coming out in the next couple days concerning the big fly-ins that we've had in Florida the last couple weeks. So hope you enjoy that stuff. Next time we'll get back to talking about performance and how we can quantify or at least determine what factors affect paragliding performance. Thanks for watching. Fly safe.